Hello there, this is the Blue Wizard, and I'm just feeling like doing a little comfort zone video today. I haven't been on YouTube for a while, but I figured, you know what, let's just do a little comfort zone video, and maybe if people like it, I'll make more of these, but that's not what this is about. This is just about me and my subscribers chilling out. Today I'm going to go ahead and review every Pokemon from Generation 1, the original 151. And I might do more of these because they're going to be really easy to do, because I'm just going to put up a solid image of all of the Pokemon that I'm reviewing, and then I'm just going to talk about them one by one. And that's how we're doing it. So, Bulbasaur is interesting because it started the trend of grass starters being quadrupeds, which I've always felt is a bit of a misstep. I've always thought, Pokemon look more powerful when they're standing upright. And it's strange to me that Blastoise and Charizard both stand upright, but Bulbasaur is a quadruped. I've always thought, Squirtle and Blastoise and Charmander and Charizard all standing, but then here's Bulbasaur on all fours. Looks a little derpy to me. Now, I'm not saying that I have a problem with Bulbasaur starting off on all fours, but it used to be that Venusaur looked like it was standing, and I always thought that made a lot more sense. I mean, Ivysaur, sorry. It always looked like Ivysaur was standing. I'm going to do that a lot. I'm going to mix up Ivysaur and Venusaur's name. Just know, if I'm saying that something's cool, it's probably Ivysaur. Anyways, so my rankings for these are going to be in order. Cool, okay, meh, and shit. So, those are the four possibilities. And out of those four possibilities, I'm going to go ahead and say that Bulbasaur and Ivysaur collectively are cool. They're cool. You know what? They could have evolved into something cool. Venusaur could have been cool. Either Venusaur could have stood all the way up, or been an Ankylosaur, or there's a lot of things you could have done with the final form to these guys, to these two, that would have treated them right. But unfortunately, they didn't do that, and they went with this big fat toad monster that looks ugly and disgusting and has never made any sense, and just is inferior to the other two starters. In Generation 1, if you picked Venusaur, I am sorry for you, because Game Freak doesn't like you. Game Freak doesn't love you. It just, unfortunately, Venusaur is always going to get wrecked, and I'm sorry. Moving on, here's Charmander. Okay, so here's the thing. In the 90s, you were either a fire kid or a water kid. Okay? If you were a boy playing Pokemon, you either liked fire or you liked water. And those two, that division between those two had very different personalities. You knew when somebody was a fire kid. You knew when somebody was a water kid. Very different. It's like the difference between like hard style and soft style in martial arts. It's like water kids were more analytical, maybe a little bit more serious. They're the kind of kids that might grow up to be emo someday, but then might also grow up to be like, tech geniuses or whatever. Like, water kids were more brainy, you know what I mean? And fire kids were more like adventurous and more like passionate and more like usually better at sports. And, there was a real division between fire kids and water kids. They were very different. Anyways, so I was a water kid, right? Which means I kind of grew up loathing Charizard just a little bit because Charizard is so fucking cool. And our starter that represented our type of kid, right? You pick Squirtle. Squirtle's just as good as Charmander. Then Wartortle is just as good as Charmeleon. But then Blastoise is shit compared to Charizard. And I'll go into that when we get to Blastoise. But it just is. Charizard's so cool. He's such a cool fucking dragon. I know he's not dragon type, but he's dragon. And I've always thought Charizard was neat. Now, I've basically never picked Charizard as a starter. On principle, I've never picked Charmander as a starter. But the whole line is just flipping awesome. It's one of those things where the middle stage looks like the final stage, but then they add something that still makes it unique. Like, it's the perfect amount of change over time to make each thing look related, but at the same time different enough that it's like, yeah, that's a different thing. I feel like they really honed in on a very good balance in this evolution in terms of what it turns into. So, Charmander and fucking Charizard and Charmeleon, they're all going to get a cool rating. They're all going to get a cool rating. The only one so far that's gotten a shit rating has been Venusaur. Venusaur is shit. Okay, next. God, so many emotions. Squirtle is so cute. He is the best Gen 1 starter, bar fucking none, in terms of design. Like, he's so good. I love him so much. He's such a cute little buddy, but he's so fierce. He still has got a little inner strength inside. He reminds me of Krillin from Dragon Ball. It's like, he might be scared, but he's got it in him to do great things. You know what I mean? Like, I love Squirtle. And then Wartortle is so neat. He reminds me of Hayachi with his, like, hair spikes or whatever, and the squirrel elements of the Squirrel Turtle is there, you know, with the fluffy tail, and I really think, like, it's like they're building to something. You know what I mean? You see the same kind of thing that you do with Charmander and then Charmeleon happening with Squirtle and Wartortle. And then there's fucking Blastoise. I hate Blastoise, but I don't hate him because his design is bad. Okay? That's not my problem with him. I don't hate him because the design is bad. I hate him because he's not the evolution of Wartortle. Where's the fluffy elements of Wartortle? That Wartortle's based off of this legendary Japanese kaiju creature, yokai. And he has this fluffy tail and fluffy ears that look like waves, and he's this big thing. Where is that guy? Because he's not Blastoise. Blastoise has weird cannons on his back that were never mentioned before, and it's not like the fucking wings that Charizard gets, where it's like, oh, this is a cool extra thing that's added to him. It's like, why does this exist? And then you go and do the research, and it turns out that Blastoise had several beta forms that look better than him, that actually do look like evolutions of Wartortle. That pisses me off. And then you find out that actually Wartortle was supposed to evolve a long time ago into Lapras. That it was supposed to be Squirtle, Wartortle, Lapras. All you gotta do is add the fluffy ears from Wartortle to Lapras, and I am fucking sold on that. I've always thought that Lapras was a better evolution. Lapras, as a result, has the same exact stats as Blastoise, but just switched around a little bit. Switch those stats right the fuck back. Take away Lapras's ice typing, I guess. And then just give it some fluffy Wartortle ears, and it's a perfect evolution for the line, I guess. If you want to make them standing, there were beta versions of a standing Wartortle evolution that looked like the actual yokai that Wartortle is based off of. Blastoise can go suck a chode, because it's not the evolution to Squirtle and Wartortle for me. It just isn't. It's just like some separate thing. That being said, because I've always picked Squirtle, I've always had a Blastoise, and I've never been disappointed power-wise. Blastoise is, bar none, the strongest Gen 1 starter. No doubt. I mean, he's weak in terms of design, but he's strong in terms of strength. So, if I'm judging Blastoise's design not as the continuation of Squirtle and Wartortle's design, but as his own thing, then I'm going to go ahead and say that Blastoise is meh to okay. I think he's fine as a design. It's just that I don't like him as Wartortle's evolution. And then Wartortle and Squirtle are going to get a cool. They're absolutely cool. I love them. They're undeniably fucking Radtaculer. So, yeah. Then there's Caterpie, Metapod, and fucking Butterfree. Sorry, didn't remember their names for a second. I do know the names of every Gen 1 Pokemon, but I forgot it for like a moment. So, Caterpie and Metapod look like they go together. Butterfree doesn't. It's another case of Blastoise syndrome. But in this case, it's not so bad, because Butterfree looks adorable, and so does Caterpie, and Metapod is a really interesting middle stage. I think all of them, except for Metapod, get the rank of cool. Caterpie is cool. Butterfree is cool. Metapod gets an okay. Maybe if there was something to hint to Butterfree as his upcoming design. There's a theory that Butterfree and Venomoth were actually switched with one another. And that makes some sense. But I still like Butterfree as Caterpie's evolution. I just feel like some Caterpie elements need to be added to Butterfree, and some Butterfree elements need to be added to Metapod. And it would be just fine. Maybe as a regional variant, guys. Maybe as a regional variant. You can make Butterfree's eyes maybe green to match Caterpie's eyes. Maybe add some of the circles that are on Caterpie onto Butterfree. I don't know. I feel like a little bit of intervention, and it could be a much closer line. But as it stands, all of them are cool except for Metapod, who's just okay. And even then, I think Metapod's whole hardened, weird thing is it can be cool. He can be cool. It's all right. Next we have the Beedrill line. To be honest, I'm meh about all of them except Beedrill. Like, I'm not meh. No, I'm sorry. I'm just okay. Weedle's okay. Kakuna's okay. Beedrill is the shit. He's cool as fuck. I have no problem with Beedrill. I wish he was a little bit stronger so that you could use him later game. I wish bug type wasn't really a thing. I've always thought that bug type doesn't make a lot of sense. And I know there's like 17 million types in Pokemon, but I'm making my own monster catching game eventually, and I have 9 types, and it's a lot more balanced and like a lot more thought out. So like the many types of Pokemon have always bothered me a little bit. I mean, you could just make him flying or something, and he'd be better. But because bug type, and they do this thing with bug types where they make them have weak stats, but then really niche abilities, and at least in the earlier gens. And yeah, it's just a shame you can't use him later game because Beedrill and Butterfree might very well have stayed on my team long term if they were actually useful. I know they give them some cool abilities, but still, it's just I don't want them on my team because of their weak stats. They can't take a hit. Beedrill has a pretty neat Mega Evolution, but we're not counting Mega Evolutions in this. We're only doing base things. We're only doing the Pokemon of the generation that they're in, not variants thereupon. That means we won't be talking about Rhyperior about this time, but you wait. If we get some more of these videos, I will talk about Rhyperior. So now we're talking about the Pidgeotto line, which I believe is Pidgey, yeah, wait. So Pidgey, Pidgeot, Pidgeotto, I think. Right? Right. Okay, so all of them are just okay to me. I feel like they need a bright color or something to make them pop. This was Gen 1. There's a lot of really normal animal-looking Pokemon. I feel like they're designed enough that they do indeed look like Pokemon. They do have exaggerated features. They do have some cool, otherworldly elements with the hair that Pidgeotto gets. But I'm sorry, guys. I just think that they could use a little something. Maybe make a bunch of regional variants of these guys in the future. I don't know. I'm not saying that they should go back and change their design because they're classics at this point. I'm just saying that Pidgey has always felt a little brown and a little normal to be a Pokemon. I feel like it could be amplified just a little bit. Every basic Route 1 bird is based off of Pidgey in some way. And so most of them end up just being brown, and most of them end up being just boring. And they've changed that in recent times after Fletchender, and I'm glad that they did. But for a while, Pidgey was the status quo. You see him in P-Dove, you see him in a lot of them, and not a fan. Not a huge fan. So I'm going to go ahead and say Pidgey's okay. I don't like what he started, but I respect him as an original Pokemon, and his design is a design. It's okay. It's not meh. He's an actual Pokemon. I can actually see him as being cute. I've never had one on my team all the way to the end of the game, really, but he's fine. Rattata and Radicate. I've always thought Rattata was cute. I've always liked Rattata, and I've always... his regional form is really fucking cool in the Alola region, which is one of the very few Pokemon of the Alola region that I like. Surprise, surprise. We'll talk about that when we get there. Sun and Moon kind of suck part 2. Yeah, but Rattata's fine. Radicate has always been kind of ugly and weirdly bulbous. I don't know what they could have done with a Rattata evolution to make it not look like shit. Rats are actually pretty cute creatures. I think you could make an evolution that doesn't look badly. I don't know why it's not just Rattata but bigger. Like Radicate, his neck kind of disappears, sort of, and he just looks disgusting and sewer-like. A Rattata split evolution would be fucking fantastic. Maybe use a Dark Stone on Rattata or something. He turns into something cool. Dusk Stone, whatever. I would be very interested to see a Rattata split evolution. I've always thought he had more potential, but as it stands, yeah, he doesn't do much. Interestingly, he's the opposite of Pidgey, because even though future generations would have a bunch of little brown mammals as Route 1ers, Rattata is purple. He's not like a brown Route 1er, which is also disappointing because Radicate turns brown from purple. Why would you go from exciting colors to lame colors? I don't get it. I'll never get it, but I'm going to go ahead and give Rattata a cool and Radicate an okay. That's how I feel about them. There's no like extra cool or whatever. Maybe there is. Maybe there's a Radtaculer. But if there was a Radtaculer, then I might give it to a Lowland Rattata, but unfortunately he still evolves in the shit. Alright, Spearow and Fearow. They're okay. Done. I have nothing else to say about them. A bunch of Spearow attacked Ash and Pikachu in the anime, and that's how they became friends. I do like the pink on their wings or whatever, but it's not like they turn into fire types. I've always thought that it looked like Fearow would evolve into Ho-Ho. That's interesting, I guess, but they don't do anything with it. So he's a weird evil chicken, and he exists. He's basically Pidgey, except he's a little bit harsher. I guess if you're like an edgy kid and you're like, yeah, your favorite Pokemon is Pidgey, well, my favorite Pokemon is going to be Fearow, then maybe you have something there. But to be honest, I just have never... They're just okay. Arbok and Ekans, or Ekans and Arbok, I should say, rather. Ekans is a purple snake. It's fine. Arbok is a purple snake. It's fine. He has a face on him. They look like Pokemon. They're okay. They don't really light my world on fire personally, but if I was a big fan of snakes, maybe I'd be into them. I've thought there would be a really cool if it had a third form. I've always thought maybe if it had a third form, I could be into it. Maybe if it become Poison Dragon or something like that, I could be in like Flynn. But for now, they're fine. They're fine. I don't have a problem with them. They're okay. Pikachu and Raichu. So, originally there was no Pichu. Originally they were going to put in a Pokemon called Gorachu that was going to evolve from Raichu. And that makes sense because Raichu very much looks like a middle stage. Raichu is just okay, and Pikachu is cool. And there's this dip that happens a lot in Pokemon where the middle stage will be okay, and the final stage will be fucking awesome. Gorachu could have been fucking awesome, but unfortunately we never got to see what that was going to look like. I mean, we kind of know what it would look like, but... yeah, it sucks because Pikachu is an honorary starter, sort of, because Ash had one as his starter, and because in Pokemon Yellow you get one as your starter. So Pikachu is like an honorary starter, and yet he's a 2-stage evolution, except Pichu, which makes him a 3-stage evolution, but it also makes Raichu, who only has middle evolution level design, a final form. They kind of fixed this in Alola with a Alolan Raichu, which I believe is the superior looking Raichu. I was kind of hoping the Galarian Raichu would be fighting type, but they didn't do that. I'm up for, if instead of wanting to make a Pika clone, instead of making more Pika clones, if we just did a different variant on Raichu each time, I would be absolutely fine with that. Maybe eventually we'll find one that's so cool that we just have to evolve Pikachu in the anime into it. But I don't think that'll ever happen. I'll talk about that in another video, possible Pikachu forms for the future. But anyway, Pikachu gets a cool, or a Radtaculer, or whatever, and Raichu gets, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to give him a cool as well, because I don't hate Raichu. I just don't think he's as good as Pikachu. But his design definitely has more design to it than Pikachu, than they tried. He definitely just looking like an animal. He's cool, I guess. I do wish they had done some color work on him to make it so that his colors were better. If I ever do like a Pokemon color theory video or something like that, I'll explain what's off about Raichu. But yeah, for now, Pikachu is cool and Raichu is okay. He's right on that borderline. I wish there were less Pikachu clones. So, Sandshrew and Sandslash. I love them. I wish they weren't ground type. That's all I have to say. I don't like ground type Pokemon. I wish they weren't brown. I don't understand why one goes from kind of looking like bricks to the other having spikes, really. They both have Alolan forms. Their Alolan forms are neat, even though I'm not talking about those. So I'm going to go ahead and say that the Sandshrew, Sandslash line is cool. Both of them. Both of them are. I wish they weren't brown. I'm not saying Pokemon should never be brown, but it's just like they don't use interesting browns. They don't use contrasting color. They just kind of make things brown sometimes in Pokemon. That should never be the case. Nothing should ever be just brown. You know. Most animals have some kind of accent to them. So, now we have the Nido line. And you know what? I'm just going to cut this short as far as like the entire line. I'm just going to get through this very quickly. They're all cool. All of them. They're all cool. I have no problem with the Nido line. They've never really made sense. They're kind of rhinoceros, rat, dinosaur, kaiju. They were sort of Tyranitar before there was a Tyranitar, I guess. But I have no problem with any of them. It's weird that Nidoking and Nidoqueen can't breed together. I wish they'd fix that. But other than that, it's fine. The Cleffa line. This is another Pokemon that got a baby Pokemon. I don't necessarily hate it in this case. Originally, interesting fact, Ash was supposed to get a Clefairy instead of a Pikachu. So in a way, this was supposed to be the first honorary starter, but it didn't happen. I care so little about the editing of this video that this is where I eat a cracker, so I'm going to eat a cracker right now. Cracker. Yeah. So, Clefairy is going to get, an okay rating. No, sorry. Clefairy is going to get a cool rating, and Clefable is going to get an okay rating. Because Clefable doesn't really do anything to improve on Clefairy's design. They kind of just add spikes to the back, and it's always looked like a weirdly inferior Wigglytuff. We'll get to that when I discuss Wigglytuff, but out of the two Moonstone Pokemon, I never pick Clefable to be on my team. I always pick Wigglytuff to be on my team. So, cool and okay, respectively. Ninetales is interesting because I don't know if I like its design because I use it so much or because, you know, because I actually like it. I've always, whenever I need a fire thing on my team, it's almost always Ninetales. Because you usually get them in the creepy ghost places at fairly high levels. They use Will-O-Wisp, which is really good for burning opponents. There's absolutely, I think I can make an objective reading on Vulpix. Vulpix has a cool design. Ninetales, I don't know. It reminds me of Yoko Kurama from Yu Yu Hakusho. I usually will name a Ninetales Yoko. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I think both of their designs are cool, with the caveat that my opinion on Ninetales may be mostly based off of my usage. That happens sometimes. Sometimes you use a Pokemon and it endears itself to you that way. I've always thought that Ninetales was superior to Arcanine, and that opinion still holds. We'll talk about Arcanine when I get to him, because I don't hate his design. I actually think his design is cool, but I have problems with him as a Pokemon. Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff. I love them. I love them 1,000 times. I love Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff is one of my favorite fucking Pokemon. Still to this day, I don't know why I like it so much. I don't know what it is about Wigglytuff that endears. Most people are like, oh my god, fucking Jigglypuff, I love it so much. And then they just are crickets about Wigglytuff. Why? Wigglytuff is Radtaculer. In fact, fucking, you know, Jigglypuff is going to get a cool. Wigglytuff is going to get a Radtacular. New rating. There's now Radtacular rating. So everything I said was probably above cool now is because of Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff created a new rating just from how much I like it. So, Wigglytuff is better than Clefable. It's the best Moonstone evolution, pretty much. That's all you need to know about it. You honestly don't need to know much else about it. Wigglytuff is great. And so is Wigglypuff. I don't mind its baby form either. Zubat and Golbat and Crobat, but Crobat doesn't exist yet. See, if you take Crobat out of this line, I honestly don't like Zubat and Golbat at all. They're okay. I don't hate them. But are they okay or are they meh? You know what? It's going to be an okay for Zubat and a meh for Golbat. And then a cool for Crobat. So, The whole line's all over the goddamn place. I'm sorry you hear a clicking. That clicking is me going through the layers of the drawings so that I can look at these individually so that I can judge them based off my memory of how they look. Because I have a super grainy image up right now. I couldn't find anything better, so I had to make something for me to use myself. The Vileplume line. Oddish is cool. Gloom is unnecessarily weird middle evolution, and I don't hate it. It's okay. Vileplume is the fucking best. I love Vileplume. It's cool. Paris and Parasect. I don't know why. I have a real soft spot for Paris and Parasect. I've always liked them. I know Parasect is pretty weak, but I always end up using it on my team, and I usually have a success with it. Teach that fucker Giga Drain, I guess, and have a fun time. Yeah, all the grass that I just encountered, they're all cool. In fact, I'll go so far as to say that Vileplume is a Pokemon I always try using, even if I don't like what it does in battle, simply because of its design. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Vileplume is going to get elevated to a Radtacular. Venonat, Venomoth. Venonat and Venomoth feel like they need a final evolution or a pre-evolution or something to just make them shine. It feels like there needs to be a Chrysalis form and like a bit added to Venomoth. I don't know. And Venomoth really does look more like Butterfree. I don't know what happened here. It would be really interesting to hear. Maybe if Venomoth's like fuzziness was added back to Caterpie, and I don't know what you could do with Venonat and Venomoth, but both of their designs are cool. Like, they're not horrendous. Like, I don't hate them at all. They're just they're not just okay either. They're cute in their own right, but I've never used Venomoth for anything, because if I'm going to use Venomoth, I usually already have a perfectly trained Butterfree to do whatever Venomoth can do. So it's sort of the wiggly, tough Clefable thing all over again, except this time the okay version is actually pretty good. So both are cool designs. Fuck. Diglett. Oh my god. And Dugtrio. Diglett is cool. I don't have a problem with Diglett. It's okay. You know what I mean? It's okay. I'm going to say that. I'll go okay as its official rating. Dugtrio, if it was a middle evolution, I wouldn't have a problem with it. If it was a middle evolution. But yeah, I just as a final evolution, I don't understand it. It should, you know what Dugtrio should be? It should be a move. It should be like Swarm or something like that. Like if you use Swarm with Diglett, it creates this this more powerful form. Like, if it was made today, that's definitely how it'd be. I don't think it'd be an evolution. There should be an evolution, though, for Diglett, like an alternate form, that actually shows you what the creature underground is like. I have a feeling that seeing, like, a big mole Diglett could be really cool. But as it stands, it's brown, it's dirt, it's just 3 Digletts. It takes an okay design and makes you ask why. It goes beyond meh. Dugtrio is shit for me. I don't like Dugtrio. Especially if you liked Diglett. Let's say you took this okay design was your favorite design, and you're like, ooh, I want to know what Diglett turns into. Like, if you're like into it like that. I never was, but let's say you were, and then you just get 3 new Digletts. Are you happy with that? I don't think so. So yeah, Diglett can stay a Diglett because Dugtrio is a flippin' nightmare. Weird 3-headed mole thing. Meowth and Persian. You already know. Meowth is cool. Persian is meh. Persian should be standing up or have some colors on it or be a middle evolution. I don't know. I don't know what you do to save Persian, but Berserker is pretty cool in the new game, but Persian can just go away. I don't know. Persian does nothing at all. It just doesn't. There you go. The end. Persian is meh. It's not shit. It's just meh. Psyduck and Golduck. Psyduck is really cool. It's in the cool category. It's not Radtaculer, but it's cool. Golduck has always felt weird to me, and I've never understood it. and it's oddly big and weird, and it doesn't really carry over Psyduck's personality, and it's just something lost when you go from a Psyduck to a Golduck. I can't tell you what it is, but there's just a certain quirky, lovable energy that Psyduck has that Golduck doesn't. You should try to carry the emotion of the Pokemon all the way through. You should try and have a Pokemon have the same spirit through all of its evolutions. And Golduck just doesn't carry the same spirit with it as Psyduck, and that's the issue. If I were to judge Golduck's design separately from Psyduck, like if it evolved from something else, I would say that it was cool, but it's only okay or meh as an evolution to Psyduck. Psyduck gets the cool rating, wish it evolved into something else. Wish there was a Pokemon called Oddduck that was Psyduck's real evolution, and, was better. I actually have a drawing of Oddduck. Anyway, let's see. Oh, God, I'm looking at it, and there's a Mankey? I forget. These two have very similar names, and I don't remember them separately. Basically, they're both the exact same Pokemon, except one's bigger. This is literally but it's just bigger stage. It has weird, bracelets on it. It's an early gen fighting Pokemon before they figured out what the fuck that meant. It's not bad. It's not bad, but it's all brown again. But it's not bad. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Mankey, the monkey man pig, is the man bear pig. I think he's good. I don't have a problem with him at all. He's cool. He's in the cool ranking. I've never really used one. You know what I mean? He's on the edge of meh or okay. But I think Mankey could be cool. Like if somebody maybe if he had all the elemental punches or something. I don't know. Does he have Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, Fire Punch? If he does, then go ahead and keep him in the cool ranking. If not, lower him down to okay. Oh god, Growlithe and Arcanine. I wish they were cool. I wish, it wouldn't take fucking much. It wouldn't take, just have Growlithe evolve easier than he does right now. Give him some, good physical fire moves to complement the high physical stat. You give him Will-O-Wisp so he can catch things on fire easier. I mean, maybe he can learn it, but he doesn't learn it early, or without assistance. And if he's going to be called the legendary Pokemon, give him some kind of cool ability or form that he can unlock. I'm not asking for an evolution to Arcanine. I'm just saying, maybe if the stripes glue, or maybe if the fucking fur caught on fire. If anything could use a Mega Evolution, it's Arcanine. When they first announced Mega Evolution, I was like, obviously Arcanine's going to get one, because if anything could use a little bit of help, just a little something, Arcanine's your boy. They're both very cool designs. I don't hate either one of them, but damn, they're just not usable. But yeah, they're cool designs. They're perfectly acceptable looking Pokemon. The Polyline, the Poliwhirl line. I love them. Yeah, no complaints. They're all getting cool ratings from me. I like the split evolution. I wish it was easier to get. That's pretty much all I have to say about it. Poliwrath, the final one, he could be a little bit... I've always been a little bit disappointed with him, but he's still solidly in the cool ranking. It is one of those things, though, where it's the same design, but it just gets bigger. Maybe they could have added something a little bit to differentiate, but he's fine. He's fine. I don't have a problem with Poliwrath. They're cool. Oh, God. The Abra line. Abracadabra and Alakazam. Cool naming convention. Just okay design. I mean, maybe I'm alone there. Where does his tail go? Where does Kadabra's tail go when he becomes an Alakazam? What happens to it? I don't understand. Why does he just get another spoon? How is this an evolution and not a split evolution? I don't get it. I've never gotten it. But it's okay. They have their place. They're okay. I'm going to go ahead and elevate Abra, though. Abra gets a cool from me. But his evolutions are just okay. The Machamp line. Again, early gen fighting Pokemon, they had no idea what the fuck they were doing with them, I'm convinced. It's always weirded me out when fighting Pokemon have clothes on. This line is no exception. Pokemon should not have clothes. They can have things on them that look like clothes, like fur situated like clothing or something else, but I don't think Pokemon should have clothing. I've never thought that they should. It's always been weird. It's weird here. Him going from having 2 arms to having 4 arms is cool, but his face changes weirdly, so that Machamp has always looked really gross. Manchoke looks better. I don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and give all of their designs a solid okay. They're okay. Maybe if you gave Machamp or whatever a longer tail, perhaps, to make him look a little bit more dinosaur-y, and maybe if you fixed their weird underwear that they somehow evolved to have, and maybe if you fix Monchamp's face, then maybe I would. I don't know. I don't know. They're just okay. The Victory line. Bellsprout, Victory Bell, the middle one. You know what? These guys have a lot of personality. I don't hate them. I'm gonna go ahead and say that they're cool. They're cool in my book. They're not Radtaculer, but they're cool in my book. Let's see here. Is this video getting really long? I don't want to bore people with this. Oh shit, we're already in like 37 minutes. Oh god. Okay. Let's see here. The Kraken guys. The Kraken bros. I know their names. Oh no. Oh no. What? Tentacruel. Yeah, there we go. They're mad at me. I've never given a shit about them. I don't know what I don't know. They just need something, or maybe need something taken away. I don't know how to explain it, but meh. Oh god, Geodude. Geodude could have been so neat. His middle evolution is really going somewhere, but then his final evolution makes him a dinosaur, but then like he's also still a ball, and he went from having 4 arms to having like 2, and I just don't know what the hell they were doing with him. The basic summary of my thoughts and feelings on the Geodude line is cool, what the hell. I feel like if you took Golem out of his rock shell and you turned that last set of arms into wings and you gave him a tail or something, he could be a really cool rock dragon type, but they just don't do anything with him. Golem is just really oddly, and he's not a Golem either. Like, Golurk is more of a Golem, and like, why isn't he just like Geogon or something? Like, I just don't understand. I don't know. He could be cool, but he's not. That's my summary. He gets a strictly meh. Golem gets a meh for wasted potential. He's not a shit rating. There's not very many shits. We'll talk about that. Ponyta, Rapidash, they're okay. Both collectively okay. Maybe if you made an Alicorn with wings as the final one, then I would go ahead and say that one was cool, or maybe even Radtaculer, but as it stands, the line doesn't go anywhere, so it's just okay. Slowpoke has always just taken up space. I don't know. It's got weird methods of evolving. I wish that you could have a Shelder in your party to make it evolve. It just seems like there's a fusion mechanic that's not fully explained. Shelder can't evolve into what it latches onto its tail as. Normally, like, I know there was a plan to have like the Shelder evolutions coincide with the Slowbro, and it's just an abandoned Pokemon concept that I really wish would be repaired and turned into something. It's one of those where they need to go back and do something to it, either change the way it evolves or just it just needs something. I can't explain it. Maybe if Shelder is on top and the two get to a certain level, and then one gets a level, then it turns into Slowking, and then maybe if Shelder's on the bottom, it turns into Slowbro, and both of those need to have unique moves to stand out. But as it stands, they're just okay. They're okay. They're Pokemon, but they're not great Pokemon. In fact, I strongly consider demoting them to meh. Their designs aren't shit, but they're just okay. Magnemite Magneton. Magnezone is a great final evolution. I'm glad that they added it, because otherwise I would be like meh completely. But as it stands, I loved magnets as a kid in the 90s. Magnets are fucking awesome. I like that they have the North and South Pole magnets on them. And this is one of the few triple evolutions where there's like 3 of something sticking together where it makes sense. Magnets do stick together. Magnets also heat up when you move them around, so them kind of melting and conjoining into being one thing makes sense too. So if we're taking the full line into consideration, and my love of magnets as a kid in the 90s, I'm going to go ahead and say that they're cool. The end. Farfetch'd. He's okay. He's just okay. Fucking the duo, the two-headed bird that turns into a 3-headed bird. He's fine, but I feel the same way about him that I do about Fearow. He's just okay. Spheal, he's shit. Spiel and Seal, or whatever the hell, Dugong. No, yeah, Seal and Dugong. Seal is a shit design. He's so derpy and so useless looking, and Dugong is cool and has potential, but he just doesn't go anywhere with it. They need a final evolution on these guys. Dugong just does not stick the landing for me. So Dugong is going to get an okay, and Seal is going to get a shit. Yeah. Unless Dugong's the final one. I mixed these two up. So whichever one's the final evolution is going to get an okay, and whichever one is the first evolution is going to get a shit. Muck. For some reason, I've always had a soft spot for Muck and Grimer. They're both getting cool ratings. I can't explain why. By the way, I extend that cool ranking to Trubbish and Garbodor as well. I've always liked them, even though it doesn't make any sense to. I don't know. Sue me. I know there's people who hated Trubbish. I don't. Not one of those people. Shelder and Cloister. I've always liked them. I've always wanted more forms for them. I've always thought that Cloister was a cool Pokemon. I wish they did more with them. Maybe gave them something unique about them. Maybe a neat ability or something. But as it stands, they just kind of are there in the games. But both of their designs are cool. So they're not going to get points off for their designs being bad. I've always thought their designs are neat. The Gengar line. I've always wished Gengar was easier to get. I've always wished he wasn't a trade Pokemon. There's so many games where I want a fucking Gengar, and I can't get a Gengar. Gengar is awesome. And if you use hacks in Red, and I don't mean if you actually do the glitches in the game that allow you to cheat, one of the first Pokemon you can get from cheating, and I'm not talking about cheating with a genie, game genie. I'm talking about old-fashioned hex fucking hacking, which is its own beast. But you can get a Gengar very early on, and it was the coolest fucking thing. When I decided I was going to get off 151 and that I was going to use hex duping and everything, Gengar was one of the very first Pokemon that I got, and it encouraged me to go through the whole challenge of getting all 151 in Generation 1 on the original cartridge. Gengar is great. I love him. He has Ice Punch. Ice Punch automatically elevates you a bit. Ghastly is just a cool design, but Gengar is a Radtaculer one. Haunter is also going to get a cooler Radtaculer. In fact, you know what? In rankings, cool, Radtaculer, with Gengar being super duper awesome. He's one of my favorites. Always liked him. Onyx. He's kind of shit. He's sort of just a pile of rocks, dude. But I'm going to go ahead and elevate him to a meh, because I know there's people that like Onyx, but I've just... Maybe if Onyx was like the final evolution of Geodude, like maybe if you stuck Onyx's tail onto Golem and then gave his head spike to Golem, then maybe he would be something. But as it stands, I just don't... Onyx, man. He's just meh. Hypno and whatever the fuck, I don't know. The two Tapirs. They're gonna go ahead and get a shit ranking from me. I don't like either one of their designs. I can't explain why. They've always just been really off-putting. Hypno, the original form, the first form, whatever. He's gonna go ahead and get an okay. But yeah, the second form is going to go ahead and get a shit ranking because he's not a good evolution, and I don't like him. Krabby and Kingler. perfectly acceptable, just above average, meh designs. They're not... I wish they were more than they are. I wish they were more Pokemon-like. I'm going to go ahead and give them just an okay, though. They're just getting an okay. If they had a little bit of extra something, a little bit of extra spice, they could be cool, but they're not there. Oh god, we're gonna... Okay. Voltorb. And, whatever. Voltorb's line is the epitome of meh. They're just Pokeballs. They don't, like, come out of the Pokemon ball and turn into something. Even sticking 3 of them together might be an improvement. I don't know. Like, there's so much more. If it was like an Ankler, like maybe if it was like a ball like stuck to something, so when you go to grab the Pokeball, the eyes open and then it comes back to like a Venus flytrap thing or something, but like or an Anklerfish or something. But there's just nothing to them. They're just balls, and then they explode. Like 2 exploding balls. Like they're meh. I don't get them. Nobody else does either. I don't think I'm alone in that opinion. Executor and the fucking eggs. Meh. I don't get it. Some people are big Executor fans out there somewhere, but mep. Also, the first form is just a bunch of things stuck together again. So, you know, I'm glad we got out of that in Pokemon. I really am. I'm glad there's not a whole bunch of those in the modern day. It's not a trend that really stuck around. I mean, there's things like Phalanx, but that makes sense. But yeah, just whatever. His first form is eggs, execute, whatever, and then his final form is palm tree. And I know they're not really eggs; they're actually nuts, and the nuts go in the ground, and the nuts make the palm tree, and whatever. And like, someday his head's gonna fall off, and that's gonna turn into new executors. Yeah, I get it, but I don't care. They're meh designs. It is interesting that Executor eventually became a dragon. But I wish his regional variant was even more different, as in I wish it was actually a good design. Maybe if it was more like Tropius or something. Fucking, yeah, make Tropius his final evolution. All the dicks fall off of him and turn into, you know, a good Pokemon. I don't know. He's alright. He should. Cubone and Marowak. I've always thought that Marowak should evolve into a male Genghis Khan. I've always thought that would be really cool, because it's obvious that Cubone is supposed to be a baby Genghis Khan that's like fallen off the thing, and just make there be a baby Genghis Khan. And if you give it a bone or something to hold, it turns into a Cubone. You know what I mean? Like, it turns into a Cubone, and then when it evolves, right, the evolution is whatever the fuck a male version of a Genghis Khan is supposed to be. It makes perfect sense. I don't know why they haven't done it yet. You know? And you could always have it, so there's lots of female-only evolutions. You could always have it so that only male Marowaks evolve into Genghis Khan. So, I don't know. I don't know why they haven't done it. I'd be cool with Bone Genghis Khan. Hasn't happened yet. But these designs are both cool in their own right. They have good lore information. The original Gen 1, we actually see a Pokemon die. It makes there be stakes to what Team Rocket's doing. So I have no problem with Cubone and Marowak. They both get regional variants. Well, one does. And it's pretty awesome. So, give it an evolution. But that's pretty much the only thing that I have to say about it. It's okay. I mean, it's not okay. It's cool. It's officially cool ranked. That's its ranking. Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan. Gen 1 fighting Pokemon. They're weird. One of them has clothes. I like Hitmonlee a little bit better than Hitmonchan. Oh, no, wait. Which one has the kicking? I like the kicking one better than the punching one, but whatever. They're both in the meh category. Lickitung. I've always liked Lickitung. Lickitung is cool. And, you know, even though I hated Licky Licky at first, Licky Licky actually eventually grew on me. So I'm going to go ahead and give him a cool ranking solidly. Wheezing and Coughing, they're going to go ahead and get a shit ranking. I've never understood them, and they need a final evolution, and they need limbs, and I just don't like them. Whatever, goodbye. Rhyhorn and Rhydon. Rhydon is one of my favorite Pokemon, honestly. I really love Rhydon. Or Rhyhorn, whichever one is the final evolution out of the two. Supposedly he was the first Pokemon. I respect that. Really cool. Rhyperior shit. Sorry, bro. Hope they give you a regional variant for Rhyperior soon. But as it stands, Rhydon is cool enough that you can just stop right there. So, he's a Rhino. He's a rock kaiju. I've always liked him, and I'll probably continue to still like him. So he's going to go ahead and get a Radtaculer rating for his second form, and a cool rating for his first form. The end of that. Oh, let's see. I know nobody's going to stick with me through this whole fucking video. Nobody is. That's okay. Blissey or oh god, what is your final form? Chansey? Yeah, Chansey. That's what you're called in Gen 1. Chansey's an egg, and it's pink, and it's okay. Tangela is okay too. Doesn't get neither one of these guys have an evolution in Gen 1, and both of them needed it, and both of them got it, and both of their evolutions are cool ranked, but both of them are okay ranked. Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan has so much potential as a Pokemon, and literally they do absolutely nothing with it. I have no words. It's another Gen 1 Pokemon that's just okay, that could be elevated with a few tweaks. Give it a different version for its male self. Let its baby self be an actual Pokemon that evolves. It doesn't seem that hard. Involve Cupone somehow. Just, I don't know. Genghis Khan's a waste of potential. It's okay. Sidrow. I love Kingdra so much, but Kingdra's not in Gen 1, so I can't talk about it. But I will when we get to Gen 2 eventually. But Horsey and Sidra are cool designs, with Kingdra being a really great design, and I wish it was easier to evolve. I wish you could just use a Water Stone on it. That would make it top 10, definitely. But unfortunately, it's a trait evolution holding an item, and I don't like those, so whatever. But we're going to go ahead and give these a really cool, and we're going to Kingdra, though it's not here, a Radtaculer. When we get to that video, if we ever do. I don't know how many of these I'm doing. Probably not. But maybe I will. I quit my one Pokemon video, and so I've been disillusioned for a while with Pokemon, and I was making my own monster catching game, so, you know, I'm trying to, like, think of my own shit and not really look at Pokemon, but I'm doing this right here, right now, because I can, whatever. Goldeen and Seaking, or whatever, meh. They're fish. With Goldeen edging him out. Goldeen is just okay. Seaking is meh. They're fish. I have nothing else to say with a horn. Starmie and Starmie. They should get an evolution. It might make them interesting, but as it stands, they just kind of exist. I wish that they pulled a Magnezone on them and give them something really different for their final stage. But as it stands right now, both of them are strictly speaking in the okay ranking. They do look like Pokemon, but they don't look good. Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime is creepy, and I'm kind of loving it. He's okay, as far as designs go. But I'm not giving him an okay ranking. I'm giving him a cool ranking, because I've always thought that Mr. Mime just adds something. There's just a creep factor that he adds that's Hypno-esque, but better, because it's just more... I don't know. It's more complex. So, despite the fact that I hate clowns, Mr. Mime is going to get a cool ranking because I think that he adds something to Generation 1. Scyther. Scyther is so fucking badass. Scyther is so cool. Everybody knows this. I sort of wish that they had let Pinsir, whatever, evolve into Heracross, because then that would have made, like, the evolution just work a little bit better, whatever. But anyways, he has a cool form. I like Scyther. He's, strictly speaking, in the cool ranking. He's good. Speaking of cool, here's Jinx. She's an ice type. She's shit. Moving on. I don't need to talk about why she's shit. She just is. It's not a... No creature would look like this in the wild, whatever. Electabuzz and Magmar. They're both getting cool rankings. I've never liked Magmar's face. I really don't. I don't like any of its lines' faces. They have weird B-clips going on. But Electabuzz's line is so cool. And then I've liked the flamey plate armor aesthetic that Magmar has. I just wish that it had a different face. Had a different face, it would be just as cool as its electrical brother, but it doesn't. So maybe if there's a regional variant that fixes its face someday, we can talk. But right now, it can just kind of exist. Both of them are cool, whatever. Pinscher is meh. Same with the Bull. Tauros. Maybe if it had an evolution, maybe if it came from something, maybe it could be different. I don't know. There's been a proposed split evolution with the one pink cow. I'm cool if that were to happen. It just feels like it needs something. It does feel like it could be a final form, but it just needs something. As it stands, it's kind of in the same category as Arcanine. But I'm going to go ahead and give it an okay rating. It passes. I actually really love the story of Magikarp. I love the story of Magikarp becoming Gyarados. It's so cool, and both of them are cool for it. And the idea of there being a useless Pokemon that turns into something awesome, I've always felt is like really good. And there is actually a mythological story of a carp going upstream and turning into a dragon. So it's based off of myth, so it has that going. And their colors are the reverse of each other, but they also keep the same 3 spiky design and the same like little tentacle mustache thing they've got going on. I love them. I love them. They're good. They're classics. I kind of wish Gyarados looked a little friendlier, or a little, I don't know. I've always felt Gyarados was a little ugly, okay? But you just can't deny how cool they are. Whenever a Gyarados shows up, you're like, oh, so big, so strong. So, it does what it wants to do. It's cool. Lapras. I think we're getting close to the end. Give me a second to zoom out. We are, yeah. Okay, Lapras. I already talked about this. It's getting a Radtaculer rating. I wish it was the evolution for Wartortle, but it's not. All you gotta do is add some fuzzies here and there, and it's great. On its own, it's still a fantastic Pokemon. We have a Nessie legend here in the place that I live. So I really like it. Anyways, Lapras is dope. It's Radtacular. Dittos are used for sex. I need say nothing more. It's a blob. You know what? Give it the same. Whatever rating I gave Muck, go ahead and give Ditto. Eevee and its entire line are going to go ahead and get a cool rating, except for Glaceon, which I believe should be redesigned. Because I don't like the hair in front of its face. But the rest of them are all super duper dope. And collectively, the whole line gets a Radtacular, but every individual member gets a cool rating. Even Flareon. But Flareon needs to be powered up a little bit. Porygon. It's cool. Its evolutions are cool. There you go. Nothing more needs to be said about Porygon. It did cause a bunch of kids to have seizures in the 90s because of its one episode, but it was actually Pikachu's electricity that did that. They framed it on Porygon because they didn't want to lose Pikachu as a mascot. But, so it doesn't appear in the anime really anymore. But, I like Porygon. I like the idea that they were studying Pokemon and they put the information together and it just popped out. There's a Pokemon now from the data. It sort of overlaps with Digimon in terms of concept, but I'm open to seeing more artificial Pokemon. I've kind of always thought like artificial Pokemon should be their own typing, but whatever. Anyways, Porygon is neat. Don't have a problem with him. Helix and his evolution, Ammonite, Omastar, I forget. Anyways, I know that there was a big deal on Twitch Plays Pokemon or something a long time ago where the Helix fossil ended up getting worshipped and it became a whole thing. But I've always just felt meh about these Pokemon's actual designs. I mean, the one guy has a cool mustache, I guess. But my overall opinion is meh. It's not shit. It's not great. It's just meh. I feel like if you added a little something... I'm eating crackers again. I'm doing it again. I feel like if you added a little something, these guys could go up a ranking. They could go from meh to cool. But you know what? I'm going to elevate their rating. Because at least they're not brown. They're going to get an okay rating. Oh, look. There's Kabutops. Kabuto and Kabutops. They're both brown. And I should hate that. But I don't in this case. Because I love Kabuto. And I love Kabutops by extension. And usually one ends up on my team somehow. At least for a little while. And they're actually my favorite fossil Pokemon. Despite the whole being brown thing. I'm going to go ahead and give them cool rankings. Well, I'm going to give a cool ranking to Kabutops, but Kabuto is going to go ahead and get a Radtacular rating. So, there's that. Aerodactyl. Meh. He's the best meh guy. There's supposedly his Mega Evolution is his original form. They should just make that an evolution, or just make that something that he'll transform into if you train him enough. because his Mega Evolution does look like the completed version of the design. There's just something missing about Aerodactyl. Always has been. He looks naked. You see what I mean? He just looks too naked. Anyways, he's fine. I don't have a problem with him. He just meh all around. Snorlax is Radtaculer. Not much for me to say. Munchlax is cool. I'll talk about Munchlax, I guess, if I ever do a Gen 2 video. But as it stands, Snorlax is one of my favorite designs. A version of Snorlax usually ends up on my team, at least for a hot second. I like that he can use all the elemental punches. Sometimes I'll have one called Roosevelt, because Roosevelt was a tough fat guy. So, yeah, Snorlax. I like him. He's great, and he teaches you positive body images. Don't feel bad if you're a little husky, because husky kids can be badass and cute too. And Snorlax taught me that. He taught me body positive. Like, I actually feel that way, but at the same time, saying Snorlax taught me body positivity is just a hilarious statement. But yeah, I like Snorlax. I've always liked Snorlax. Someday, I kind of hope that we get a more energetic form of Snorlax, because the idea that he's like eats a lot and he's fat and that makes him lazy, like, I've always wanted to know, what is a Snorlax like when he fully wakes up? Like, when Snorlax is rested for whatever the fuck he's resting for, there should be a full rest version of Snorlax where if you use the move rest and succeed in waking up, when you wake up you get this humongous boost, and maybe the animation changes to have Snorlax's eyes open, and I don't know. I've always thought like they could do just a little bit more with Snorlax, but I like him. He's Radtaculer. Yeah. The 3 elemental birds. 2 of them are crap, and 1 of them is good. Zapdos is meh, and Moltres is kind of meh. Looks like a burning Fearow. And Articuno is my favorite out of them, and it gets a Radtacular. Team Articuno, I guess. The Dragonite line. They're all Radtacular. They're all Radtacular for different reasons. I know there are people that don't like Dragonite being on the end there. I like him. I like him on the end there. I sort of wish that there would be a split evolution so that Dratini fans, Dragonair fans, whatever, could shut the hell up and get something that looks like Dragonair, so they'd be happy. I guess white Dragonair with some wings or something like that. That'd be fine. Whatever. But as it stands, I actually really like Dragonite as well. Maybe it should be gender-based. Maybe I wouldn't be opposed to like most Dragonite being male and then Dragonair having a split evolution based off of being female. They don't do that much anymore though. Or you could have it be like, if it learns the move Dragon Dance, then it becomes Dragonite, and if it learns maybe Fly or something like that, it becomes Dragonair's new evolution. I don't know what you do with it, but I like the line as it stands. It's Radtacular. Don't have an issue with it at all. Good Gen 1 design overall. I will say, though, that Dratini, in comparison to Dragonair, it's like a little derpy, but I don't mind it. Mewtwo and Mew. Mewtwo is fucking epic. Always has been. Nobody can tell me otherwise. It's Radtacular. It does look a little blobby sometimes, like kind of like weirdly whatever, but it looks like something that came out of a tube, so that's appropriate. Mew, Mew is one of the most redesigned things ever. In its original form, in its original sprite work, it looked like a weird sploogey the fetus, and then eventually it looked like a psychic cat, and it looked really cool. And but yeah, Mewtwo is going to go ahead and get a Radtacular, and Mew is going to get a cool. And that's the end. I've reviewed every Generation 1 Pokemon. Have a nice day, guys, and comment in the section below if you want me to end up doing like more of these. But I probably won't. But go ahead. If enough people say that they want me to do more, then I will do every single generation of Pokemon. Alright, have a nice day. Bye. I'm supposed to do the blue wizard signing out. Oh, well. Bye.